Let me just take a deep breath and say this as calmly as I can. This morning, I woke up and my wife was highly agitated. She never is. She said, I've got a really bad feeling about today. She said, we really need to just come home early and watch the kids. And I said, what do you have a bad feeling about? She said, I don't know. I get to work. Kit Daniels, a couple hours ago, walks up to me. And he says, Alex, I've got a really bad feeling about today. Camera 7. I'll have to come back. Guys. I'm just going to talk about it next segment. I'm going to restart next segment. I have to do it. And that's just the best I can do. That's all I can do at this point. The headline's up on Infowars.com, and I'm going to restart next segment. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cover all this live on this transmission for you. I'm going to go to a special report, though, here right now. The beginning of Paul Joseph Watson's report is very important. It's clip 3. And that is the truth about the Extinction Rebellion. And then we come back, I'm going to cover the most important issue that you could possibly cover, period. Because as we began to focus this morning, everybody was really concerned. No one knew why. Because it was our subconscious brains more powerful than the conscious. And then it all just came into plain view for everyone here. So we're going to be doing that when we come back, breaking that down next segment. Please tell everyone you know to tune in right now. Believe me, this is vitally important beyond anything you can probably even imagine. We'll be laying it all out here in just a few minutes, but here's that report.
When discussing climate change, it's important to focus on the hard data and not just be tempted to laugh at the insane behavior of climate change activists. So I'm going to discuss hard data. But not before I laugh at the insane behavior of climate change activists. I mean, there's just so much material. Because when you're trying to communicate the serious, sober, dire straits message that the Earth is in peril, what better way to do so than this? Well, I was a bit skeptical before, but that's me convinced. No, wait. Now I'm convinced. If only we could figure out a technological way to harness the power of crazy to replace fossil fuels, because Jesus Christ, it's in plentiful supply. Then there's this guy. Another fountain of rational credibility. But get this, they arrested him when he was about to save the Amazon.
He's here to save the Amazon!
Amazon's f***ed now. Press F to pay respects. Then there's this guy.
I'm just a father of 2 children that's very frightened of their future.
Imagine turning on the TV and seeing your dad crying because of the weather. Psychologists are warning about a new trend of eco-anxiety amongst children. They're literally terrifying kids into believing that their parents and all their friends are going to be dead in 12 years.
100 years ago, weather-related disasters killed 500,000 people a year. Today, it's 20,000 a year. A reduction of 95%. It does not lead to a death of billions. I mean, aren't you scaring people with this rhetoric, aren't you?
Alarmist language works.
Then there's this. Is that? Go clean up a beach or something. This isn't a protest. This isn't taking action. It's a social occasion. It's Burning Man on Thames. It's a bunch of sanctimonious, privileged, posh twats lecturing working class people on why their living standards should be reduced even further. Hundreds of middle-class vegans occupying Smithfield Meat Market, preventing ordinary working people from...
Global. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, October 17th, 2019. I'm your host, Alex Jones, and we've got some massive news to cover here today for you. President Trump is scheduled to give a rally speech, an event tonight in Dallas, Texas, north of where I sit. I'm coming to you from Austin. And we're going to have 5 members of our crew up there and 2 reporters giving live coverage. Then this morning, I'm watching David Knight once I got into the office, and he's playing a clip of Joe Biden talking about we need to stop fighting with each other and focus on removing Trump on the 17th. And then Biden closes his eyes and then changes the subject. Then Nancy Pelosi today got up during a press conference and looked completely freaked out and whacked out. And I had people in the office coming up to me. I had phone calls. I had text messages I never get saying Pelosi looks particularly crazy today. And did you see her hold up her arm and tap on and point at bullets that she's never worn, projectiles hanging around her wrist? So Biden says, and it takes a few days for anybody to notice, he says 2 nights ago that they're going to remove Trump on the 17th. Then he goes, oh, you shouldn't have said that, but clearly it's a message. Pelosi is holding up her arm during a press conference looking totally freaked out, saying that she's so sad about Elijah Cummings dying while she's pointing at bullets on a bracelet on her wrist. This is beyond signaling. This is straight out. And then you've got Elijah Cummings dying in his home, reportedly been sick for months. We already know that, but just the timing of all of this. And then we're only a month or so away from the next anniversary in Dallas of President Kennedy getting his head blown off in Dealey Plaza. And as soon as we came to this realization this morning, Kit Daniels, one of our great writers and researchers, went in and lined up the dates because of leap years and the way years line up. On the calendar, this is the same day that Kennedy was killed. If you look at the physical days on the calendar, when Kennedy was killed in Dallas in 1963. And then you've got all of these people like Phil Mudd, who ran assassinations. He gave the orders at the CIA saying, we're going to stab Giuliani in the back. We're going to kill Trump. You've got all these calls to assassinate Trump. It's amazing. So all of these things are lining up. And I always go with my gut because I've learned how right it is. My wife was really upset this morning saying, I have a bad feeling. Come on early. We shouldn't, you know, I just have a bad feeling. And she's never like that. Kit Daniels this morning, 2 hours ago, said, man, I got a bad feeling about today. I got a bad feeling about the crew up in Dallas. And I said, well, what's your bad? He goes, I don't know. And I've known Kit many years. He's never talked like that. And I'm like, yeah, my wife was upset this morning. And everybody can feel it. Everybody's been upset the last few weeks. And they're saying they're going to kill the president on the news. That they're going to remove him outside of impeachment. And then Pelosi comes out and says, well, we're not going to move forward with impeachment right now. We've got this secret hearing going on that's not really a real trial. It's a kangaroo court. It's a coup behind closed doors. Cummings dies. He's involved in the whole thing. Trump's about to be in Dallas. And if they were planning to try to assassinate Trump in Dallas tonight, us talking about it and us exposing it could stop it from happening. But I think it's very reasonable to say his life's in serious danger when we've had the deep state on television, Clapper and Brennan, saying we're going to remove him outside of law. We're going to remove him. You'll see. That was on CNN with Wolf Blitzer. I said that's a clear threat to the president right there. And I called for people to call the Secret Service. Well, the Secret Service called me. And they said, listen, we're not calling thinking you're threatening the president. We were told by someone in the White House to call you and get any more details you have. And I said, any more details I have? They're on TV saying they're going to remove him outside of impeachment. That means grab him, drug him, or shoot him, or kidnap him. And there was a leading Secret Service agent said, no, you're right. That's what we think too. Well, who do you think is leading this? And I said, you know who? It's Comey. It's Brennan, it's Clapper, but they all work for Hillary and for the permanent deep state and Obama, who put stay-behind networks there. And I sent the Secret Service all the articles where they admitted all this. So They're still in command of part of the government. They're saying Trump's not real. They're saying he works for foreign governments. They're saying he's working with foreign governments again. They're saying all his supporters work for foreign governments. And they're saying that they're getting ready to take them out. Not just Trump, but his supporters. So let's roll this clip of 2 nights ago. The former vice president, the gangster thug, Joe Biden, in what is a clear as day threat. Because then you line it up. We've got to focus on removing Trump on the 17th. That's today. Here it is.
My son's statement speaks for itself. What I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that George Washington worried...
My son's statement speaks for itself. What I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that...
And they've been saying they want to remove him, and they're going to do it by force. They're going to do it by the 22nd Amendment. So that's criminals that have a history of things like this, with a gun loaded, with the safety off, with the firearm cocked, with the gun to our head. And so we better take it serious. I will be here live tonight covering it. I'm tempted to get in my car and drive to Dallas after I get off at 2 o'clock today. Paul Watson hosts the 4th hour. But you notice all hell's breaking loose. I did so much preparation for this show. I've had so much incredible news that I was just dedicated to covering it all. And then like a ton of bricks, it all crystallized 10 minutes before the show. And that wasn't an act earlier when you saw me, if you were watching the first 5 minutes and I had to go off air. I've never choked on air. I've never not been able to broadcast. I don't get scared in front of crowds of 10,000 people or on national TV. You've seen it. I can barely do the show right now. And I appreciate this crew because they are very close to this zeitgeist as well, like we all are, and it's very stressful for them. So we need your prayers here, that we have a steady hand and that we have a spirit not of fear, but of strength and power and discernment, which I do. I'm not afraid. I just, the magnitude of all of this, and you can see it right there, that they say they want him dead. They produce all these movies about him dead. They have images of his severed head everywhere. And then they have these top people that run assassination operations saying they're going to kill him. They're totally making their move right now. They're apoplectic because Trump's getting ready to have them indicted. The indictments are there. That's confirmed. And the word is the AG report's coming out any day now. So the planets are aligned. And so we'd be dumb to not be saying they plan to assassinate him. And history repeats. And the globalists want to send a message. And if I know Trump, he's not going to cancel tonight, but everybody should be calling the Secret Service, the White House, everybody. And then they can say, oh, look, they said they'd try to kill him, but it didn't happen. Oh, they're conspiracy theorists. That means we would have stopped it. You can feel it. You know it. They're going to have a coup attempt on President Trump tonight in Dallas. I feel it. They've been saying they're going to kill him. The guy that ran the CIA assassination teams, Phil Mudd. He's been saying he's going to kill Giuliani. They've been saying they're going to remove him outside of impeachment. Elijah Cummings drops dead. Nancy Pelosi gets up on TV looking completely psychotic. My phone's ringing, text messages. Everybody's like, look at her. She looks 10 times crazier than ever. Owen Schroyer was tweeting out, he's not even in the office for hours. Wow, Pelosi looks nuts. Everyone saw it. We're going to play part of it coming up. We're like, what is it? My wife's like, don't go to work. I'm scared. She's calling me up, going, I just am worried. Come home. Kit Daniels says, I'm worried. Everybody, ah! Because we have a sixth sense, folks. Maybe an 8.5 is about to hit LA and it's going to drop in the ocean. You know, they're 20-something years behind an earthquake. They just came out and proved that there's all these microquakes they can never detect, that is what birds and mice are scared of. The ancients knew. You see rats and mice climbing out of their holes, hauling ass. The Romans knew that. They had a lot of volcanoes over there. If you saw the rats and stuff hauling ass out of the town, people would say, well, in a couple days, we're going to have a big earthquake. Get ready. In fact, in a lot of earthquake-stricken areas, ancient Japan, China, they would leave the cities when they saw the animals running, because they knew the animals were more sensitive than us. So maybe a massive earthquake's about to hit. You know, I've had these feelings of dread before, and then they always come true, but it's something else. Maybe it's a stock market crash. But something big is already happening and is about to happen, because all the anxiety I've been having the last few months is now at explosion level. Ah! Ah! I'm serious. I can barely do the show right now. And my whole life, I didn't go with my gut. And now I've been going with my gut the last 5 years or so, and it's just like it's never wrong. But it can be confused. Our spirits, our guts, and all the cells that pick up everything going on in the universe, you know, big studies are out that your skin picks up light, and your skin picks up wind, and your skin picks up all these things and has its own brain. Everybody always knew that. And you get depressed if you don't get sunlight. That's in studies. All the ancients already had it all figured out. We ignore all that to our own peril. But what I'm getting at, and I'll do it next segment, is I'm going to scientifically, historically, mathematically, with the evidence, walk through the fact that they are going to try to assassinate the president because they don't have the votes in the Senate, and they've tried to threaten everybody, and it's not worked. And yes, Pelosi has this secret court. It's illegal. It's not a real impeachment hearing. She wanted to get the evidence in that to bring forward the full impeachment. And yes, Mitch McConnell says he believes they're going to impeach Trump. He says by Christmas they're going to have a trial, because Pelosi's already set the timetable. They said that 2 weeks ago. And people are like, Jones claims he knows when they're going to have the trial. There goes Jones. They said what they were going to do. You don't go off the press conferences. You go off what they put out to their members that's public but not easy to find. And she said, whenever this started, what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? She said, we're going to have the vote by Thanksgiving, and then we're going to have the trial by Christmas. And then here's Mitch McConnell. Prepare for impeachment, McConnell tells GOP senators. And you read deeper, they believe in the closed-door meeting they had that is now leaked that they're going to impeach him. Of course they are. They've got the votes. Now, it's come out, ladies and gentlemen, that witnesses have now released transcripts that Adam Schiff is blowing up, can't get anyone to go on the record and actually say they heard Trump do anything illegal, even his enemies, because they know there's transcripts and other witnesses. Here's the headline. Adam Schiff pressured witness to change his story, accused Trump of pressuring Ukraine. We have the transcript, and they admit it's a transcript. So even these star chambers were getting information. This is a coup behind closed doors. So I'm going to get completely calm, and I'm going to get focused, and I'm going to come back and lay out why this is so serious. And I want to explain something. I walked around the office during the last break, and I said, what do you think of them trying to assassinate Trump in Dallas? And folks said, well, they've been saying they are. So when somebody says we're going to kill the president and they've overthrown governments and run operations killing people, you know, you listen to them. It'd be like if a guy got out of jail that robbed banks and been convicted 3 times, and he'd been in jail for 20 years, and he gets out and he says, I'm going to go rob the First National Bank today. You call the cops because, you know, this guy does what he says he's going to do. Well, we allowed this vacuum to go where all this has been allowed to take place, and they're legitimizing it and normalizing it. You go, well, that'll cause a civil war. They want a civil war. The globalists want this country shut down. We are at war with the globalists. They maneuvered us with traitors towards destruction. That was supposed to already happen. They were going to just smother us in the night with a pillow over our faces with Hillary, and we never know it. But with Trump getting in, there's going to be a fight. That's the way God works. Justice. And I would say God is, in a good way, quite the voyeur. I mean, this is very entertaining in a sick way. So, ladies and gentlemen, they killed Kennedy in Dallas in front of the whole world, and then killed Lee Harvey Oswald in front of everybody. And Leanne McAdoo, that's going to be in studio later, she said, yeah, but it'd be pretty obvious if they kill him in Dallas. But then she goes, but they did kill Jeffrey Epstein in front of everybody and let it come out they broke his neck. So she goes, yeah, could be. Because, see, that's it. It's a ritual. They killed Trump in the Lone Star State. They killed Trump in the Lone Star State. They killed Kennedy in the Lone Star State. They're trying to kill Trump in the Lone Star State. I was thinking about something this morning and had a Freudian slip. Because your subconscious brain, again, is hundreds of times more powerful than your conscious. That's a fact. And I've never worn this belt buckle. It was given to me, and it was hanging there in my closet. And I went and I put it on a belt that, when I looked at it, didn't even make any sense this morning. But I thought there's some kind of omen my subconscious mind is trying to tell me. No wonder I can't get it off. I've got the microphone unit hooked up to my belt. But I was sitting there this morning. Hard to get this damn belt off. And I was thinking about it. And I went and I got this Lone Star State belt buckle I was given many years ago. It's bronze. And I put it on this belt that says 1776, established 1776, and has American Eagles on it. And then I was looking at that, and I said, why pair the Lone Star State with American Eagle 1776 belt that I had a Molon Labe belt buckle on? And I thought, Texas holds the fate of America. Then I looked at the Eagles, and I said, no, Texas holds the fate of the president. And I'm sitting there after I brushed my teeth, putting this belt on, and I'm thinking, why am I so obsessed with this? Am I going crazy? Kill it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Texas is the reason that the president is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, Kennedy was killed in Dallas, Texas, in November of 1963. President Trump is going to be speaking in Dallas tonight. And we have all of these shocking statements by the former director of assassination operations of the CIA, Phil Mudd, saying they're going to kill President Trump and stab Giuliani in the back with a dagger, with a shiv. We have Brennan and Clapper saying they're going to remove Trump from office outside of impeachment. And then we have the reason we're coming out saying the deep state has signaled that they are going to kill or try to kill President Trump in Dallas tonight. And I can tell you there have been Secret Service investigations of Phil Mudd. There have been investigations into Brennan and Clapper saying they were going to kill and going to remove the president. They were on that stage with Wolf Blitzer. Blitzer says, impeachment? And they said, no. 22nd Amendment? And they went, no. And even Blitzer got scared because the former director of national intelligence, former director of the CIA, both on the stage. Shall I play the clip again for you? And then now he's in Dallas, and 2 nights ago, we have the signaling by Joe Biden. And then today in a press conference, we have Nancy Pelosi holding up a bracelet with bullets on it and fondling them and feeling on them and then talking about Trump. This is insane. They are absolutely telegraphing their intent, ladies and gentlemen. And they've said they want him dead. So let's play this compilation first of Biden with the Zapruder film and with Pelosi in the past talking about her bullet bracelet, in case you think we're making this up. And then we'll get to the latest with her holding up the bullet bracelet while she talks about Trump and then fondles the bullets. So, ladies and gentlemen, when she talks about orange bullets, bullets aren't orange. Bullets aren't orange, ladies and gentlemen. Orange bullets for orange men. Yeah, this is in your... Hell, they're saying on TV they're going to kill him. So, are they going to keep their word? I think about this, they're going to try. Let's go ahead and roll this.
My son's statement speaks for itself. What I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that...
What I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that what I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that what I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that
bracelets are made with bullets in the color orange, which is the color of gun violence protection. This told the president, we're not going away.
You know, we've got one shot to make Donald Trump a one-term president.
As a former government official, government's going to kill this guy.
So the guy that ran assassinations of foreign leaders, Phil Mudd, ran that. He says, we're going to kill the president. And now, everybody I know who's got any touch with the universe, anybody who's connected feels the danger. And, you know, maybe there's going to be a bomb go off in Dallas tonight. Maybe a big earthquake's about to hit Los Angeles. They say it's overdue and could be the big one and could kill tens of thousands of people and just devastate the economy of not just California, but the U.S. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. Just so many times when I've had a feeling of dread, it never turns out to be wrong. And we've all had those experiences. You have a bad feeling, you don't know why. All of a sudden somebody walks up and puts a gun to your head and mugs you. That happened. Or you got a bad feeling and you get home and your wife tells you she's leaving you. Or you got a bad feeling and you call your dad up and say, hey, let's go see grandma today. And he goes, listen, I just got called 5 minutes ago. She just died. Stuff like that. You know, hadn't made a phone call about grandma in months. I just got a bad feeling about grandma. Can we go see her today? Well, she just died 5 minutes ago. We've all heard those stories. We've all seen them. In my case, my dad's mom, I remember Rex was about 2 years old, so it was 15 years ago. And she was in pretty decent shape. She'd had a stroke and stuff. But wasn't an indication she was about to die. She'd had a stroke a few years before, complications from having a lung removed. And I remember calling him that night before she died, and she was fine. I said, I just want to go see her. I just feel like I'm really worried about her. He goes, I have that same feeling. So he got there at like 5 a.m. at my house. I'd been on a late night radio show, wouldn't get out of bed. I usually get out of bed easy. And I got up a couple hours later. And a few minutes from the house, he got a call from his brother on the cell phone. She just died. He missed it by minutes. But that's what this sixth sense is. It's a wireless internet. It's real. It's been proven. And the problem is that you know something's going on. Sometimes it's not what you think it is. But obviously the president is in danger. And obviously we should be raising the alarm that when you have all these politicians like Brennan and Clapper saying they're going to remove him outside of impeachment, that means they're going to debilitate him, arrest him, drug him, or kill him. I mean, that's all there is there. And now they're talking about it openly. And it's unbelievable because it's so authoritarian, but they're saying it on the open to normalize it so that people in government will accept it and think that they're really in charge if they're acting like that and they're talking like that. They're flexing. When we come back, I'm going to get into why they want to kill the president and why they're so desperate and why every passing day their system's falling apart. But first, I played the clip of Pelosi explaining that she has a bullet bracelet, but let's show some of the press conference today with Pelosi talking cryptically and fondling the bullet bracelet, looking like she's on 5 hits of Molly. I mean, I don't know, but she looks like a reanimated corpse. She's ready to go star in a zombie movie or the new season of The Walking Dead. Here she is.
What that is, it seems to me it was a small bill. In terms of guns, again, as I said to some of you earlier, this is a bullet. I was in Florida it was all over the country, but when I was in Florida, I received this from Frederica Wilson, my colleague. Bracelets are made with bullets in the color orange, which is the color of gun violence protection. I told the president we're not.
Okay, and again, there's so much fast moving. This is yesterday's press conference. She gave another one earlier. We'll grab that one. There's so much going on. There's so much happening. It's just a fog of war here. But this response to come out and to say that, hey, they're trying to kill the president, they're saying they're going to kill the president. The intelligence community has 6 ways from Sunny to get you, as Schumer said. And then the head of that assassination operation, who works for the Clintons, the Obama, says the government's going to kill this guy. And now he's about to be in Dallas, and Biden said Trump is going to be taken out on the 17th. You heard him say it. That's not a Freudian slip. They're messaging each other. They're publicly bragging. It's what they do. It's a ritual.
My son's statement speaks for itself. What I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that...
What I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that what I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that what I think is important is we focus on why it's so important to remove this man from office. On the 17th, look, the fact that
bracelets are made with bullets in the color orange, which is the color of gun violence protection. I told the president we're not going away.
You know, we've got one shot to make Donald Trump a one-term president.
As a former government official, government's going to kill this guy.
President Trump also has a stop and a ribbon cutting in Keene, Texas. We're going to have a crew of 5 people, 2 reporters in Dallas tonight covering the event. You saw Joe Biden say we need to focus on removing the president by the 17th. And then he goes, and then moves on from that. You've got Pelosi up there and all of her bizarre behavior. You've got Elijah Cummings dying. You've got all these deep staters saying they want to remove President Trump, including killing him. All these Hollywood people, all these New York Times people calling for violence. And Elijah Cummings dies. He had a lot of health problems. But just the way these rituals work, the way the universe works, people would say, well, why would they want to try to kill Trump in Dallas all these years after 1963? Because they are occultists. And if something worked before, they believe they do it again, and it's an even greater metaphysical event. If they tell you before they do it, they call that lesser magic, and believe me, they follow the occult, and that means the big event will probably be successful. If they can tell you without you knowing, then it makes the event even more powerful. But they also have to tell you metaphysically what they're going to do. It's like the vampire has to come over at night, get you to invite it in. And of course, it comes back later. Can't cross the thresholds. You have to sign the deal with the devil. You have to metaphysically give over your will. You have to let the big bad wolf in. You have to say, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. So a lot of people have been feeling dread, a lot of concern. Could it be the giant earthquake? Animals, it's in the news today, confirmed, major scientific reports pick up earthquakes, just like they thought. Birds, mice, so do humans. Ancients all reported that you see big green lights in the sky before an earthquake. They said, oh, that's just crazy ancients. Now they've been caught on tape because it causes so much electromagnetic tension that it causes aurora borealis low in the atmosphere, even during the day. I mean, all these things we heard about, the ancients didn't know what they were, but they weren't making it up. So again, I'm not saying Trump will be killed tonight, but I'm saying they're saying they want to kill him, and they've done things like this before, and it's Dallas, and then Kit Daniels, who's the really co-editor of InfoWars with Paul Watson. He does a great job. He said, check this out. He took me in there, and he said, you know about the Gregorian calendar versus the other calendar, and you know, the example is George Washington's born on February 11th like I am, but he was on the older calendar, so now he wouldn't be. But he said, if you look even on Google calendars, you can check the corresponding day from 365 with the date 1963, and the sister or brother day of the day Kennedy was killed in November is October 17th, 2019. And he's doing an article on it right now. And boy, the hair on the back of my neck stood up when I saw that. And it goes into leap years and the way it all works. So the occultists are really into all of this. I'm not into it. But they're heavily obsessed with numerology. They're heavily obsessed with the occult. It's all coming out. And it's a big ritual to kill somebody like Trump. And the fact that you see Elijah Cummings die, that just adds to all of this. And then the press conference for Pelosi looks so completely whacked out. Why would they want Trump dead? Because he really is fulfilling his promises. He's fighting the Chi-Com takeover. He's pulling troops out of places. He's saying that it's not our business to be in Syria. And he's saying it looks like globalists staged the release of some Al-Qaeda and ISIS, who Obama helped create ISIS, in Syria as a pretext to keep us there. And he's exposing ABC News showing fake war video that's really Knob Creek machine gun shootout. He's fighting back. He's for real. Doesn't mean he's perfect. It just means he's a different archetype than them, who isn't satanic, that doesn't want to destroy things. He's more the archetype of a man, of a king, of wealth, of victory, of strength, of America, of success. We don't need Satan. No, thank you. Bullish, confident, maybe even arrogant, but respecting God, not respecting Satan, not a slave of Satan, a real president. There's not just evil in the universe, and they don't know what to do. So why are they so angry at Trump? Well, remember the speech he gave just last week in Minnesota that scared them so bad. Blessed are the peacemakers, and the left has come out against the president and against what he said. Remember, Obama made it secret, the video and photos of the coffins. Wouldn't let the family release videos or photos. He didn't want you to see the dead troops or value them as humans. Trump does. Here's why they want to kill Trump.
Signed letters. It's the hardest thing I have to do. I sign letters. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith from Arkansas. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Jones from Alabama. Dear Mr. and Mrs. somebody from some great state. I'm sorry to inform you, your son has been killed in combat. I'm so sorry. It's the hardest thing that I have to do. And I signed those letters, and it just breaks your heart. And sometimes I go out to a place, Dover Air Force Base. It's a very tough experience. We go out there and we meet the parents and the families, the wives, the children, the sisters, the brothers. We meet them and we talk to them. These things are just impossible. I don't know how parents can do it even. And I'll be talking to some of the parents and they'll act like they're fine. I said, how are you doing? We're fine, sir. We're fine. We're really good. I said, that's great. And I'll tell the colonel, I'll say, Colonel, I think they're doing great. No, sir, they're not going to do great. You'll see. And I didn't know what he was talking about. This is the first time. And then we went outside to the runway, and this incredible machine is flying in, and it lands, and it comes over, and it pulls up. That door opens up, and the colonel told me, he said, sir, when that door opens up, those same people that you think are okay do things that you'll never see. You will hear sounds like you've never heard. That's what he does. And I saw that door open up with a coffin, with a flag over it. And these beautiful soldiers, 5 or 6 on each side, lifting the coffin and walking down the runway, the plank they call it, off this cargo plane. And I see parents make sounds, scream and cry like you've never seen before. A mother who was fine 20 minutes ago, you think, breaking the military line and jumping off, and then jumping onto a coffin of her son or her daughter. Jumping on top of the flowers, on top of the American flag. I've seen this. We were supposed to be in Syria for 30 days. We've now been there for 10 years. We were supposed to be in Afghanistan for a short period of time. We're now going to be there for close to 19 years. It's time to bring them home. It's time to bring them home.
Bring our troops back home.
That report's on banned.video. Darren McBreen, that put it together, put it on his Facebook, and they banned it for hate speech. We actually never even did a story about it. We have the screenshot. They said, any more of that behavior, you'll be banned. Unbelievable. By the way, there is so much news I haven't gotten to that ties into all of this, but make no mistake, Biden said they plan to remove Trump on the 17th. The 17th, it could be tonight in Dallas. Today is the 17th. Hour number 2 straight ahead. You'll need to stay with us.